Hi guys! Today we're going to talk about cubism. Cubism is a style of art where the subject has been deconstructed, rearranged, and put back together. So kind of like creating a puzzle. We are going to create a super cool tree. So if you look here, you're going to need a sheet of white paper, you're going to need some black paper, scissors, and a bottle of glue. If you only have a glue stick, that's okay, but the bottle of glue will help the paper stick better. So if you look at our tree, this tree really isn't realistic. It's been broken down, deconstructed, and then rearranged to put back together. But you can see that we are still creating some Y branches with our tree branches. Okay, so let's get started building our tree. And after it's built, day 2 of our project, we're gonna paint inside those sections with some fall colors. So let's get going. You're going to need scissors, a bottle of glue, and some black paper. So first you're going to cut a small rectangle out for your tree trunk. You're going to use a small line of glue and you're going to glue your tree trunk in the middle. Don't glue it all the way to the top though, because we're going to stick our branches. Next, cut some very, very thin lines that you're going to use to make all of your tree branches. Super thin lines, all right? So we're not gluing anything yet. You're going to place your tree branches where you think they might go. So again, don't glue them yet so you can easily move them around. So you want to make sure that you're sticking them behind your tree trunk. That way they're covered up. And you want to make sure that your tree branches are going from the tree trunk all the way off your paper. So it should stick off a little bit. So you're going to place your glue bottle, your line of glue, on the white paper, and then you're going to take your black sheet of paper and stick it on top of that. So one small thin line and then stick it right on top. We don't want to Hulk squeeze our glue bottles, just a nice easy squeeze to have a very thin line of glue and put your black strip on top. All right, so now you're going to have to do a little bit of measuring. You have a bunch of extra black strips. You're going to take it and measure it. So I drew my glue line and then I placed it on top. And then I'm going to draw another line. So you're trying to do diagonal lines because we're kind of thinking about making triangles. And notice my tree branches fit inside another, within that triangle, within that first big branch, okay? So take your time, and all you're going to do is just kind of play and figure out how to make some Y branches. How are you going to make sections? Now, like I said in the video, you're going to be painting inside these sections. So you don't want them to be too tiny because it could be really hard to paint them. So glue on the white paper, take your black strip, measure, trim it, and then place it in there where it needs to go. And if you think you need more branches, then add more branches. Now trim off the extra that's going around your paper and glue it down. All right, so we have our cubism tree. Now we need to paint inside of it. If you don't have paint, let's use markers so it's a nice bright color, okay? If not, let's use paint, some watercolor paint. So you're going to want to use reds, yellows, orange, green, and brown. We're going to use brown and green. That way we can paint inside and it looks like fall colors. Let's get going. All right, so I am using Temper Cakes for mine. Temper Cakes is just a little thicker paint than watercolor, but you can totally use watercolor. If you don't have paint at home, you can use crayons, colored pencils, or markers. Markers would be a really good choice to use because it'll be nice and bright. So I'm going to get my paintbrush wet in the water. I'm going to roll it around my first color, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start painting a section. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our paint, our crayons, our markers, whatever we're using to color in those sections, we're keeping it inside the black, and we really want to make sure that there's no white inside of there. So I am going to actually get all of the red done first, and then I'm going to switch colors. This will save me time with having to clean my brush, dry it off, and all that. So I'm going to speed up just a little bit. That way we can get this done and you can get to working on yours. So notice I'm not putting all of the reds next to each other. I want to space them out because, like I said, we want orange and yellows and greens and browns in it. You might have more sections, you might not, but just kind of space them out and see maybe like 2 sections per, big branch area for, a color. And then I clean my brush and I'm going to switch to orange, doing the same thing, taking my time inside the black lines and making sure there's no white left in those sections. Make sure you're holding your paintbrush by the sleeve of it. We don't want to get paint all over your hands. If the paint looks a little thin, once it's dry, you can go back and paint on top of it. Make sure you have a placemat underneath your work so you can don't get paint all over the table. So again, switching to yellow, just filling in each section by section, taking my time, and I'm not rushing, guys. I made this go faster. I'm no way painting that fast. So make sure you take your time and pay attention to your lines and where you're putting your colors at, because you don't want one section to be all yellow. And then I'm going to switch to green. So I decided not to use brown. I just kind of ran out of sections and I thought the green looked really good in there without the brown. But maybe you choose to do brown and not do green. It's totally up to you. As long as you make your fall tree stand out and all of the areas get colored in, you are good to go. And I hope you guys had so much fun. This was really one of my favorite second grade projects to do. So can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Make sure you clean up your mess. How amazing does this look? All those beautiful fall colors in your tree. So remember, this style of art is called cubism. You deconstructed the tree, broke it up, and then rearranged it. And then we used marker, crayon, paint, whatever you wanted, and colored inside those black lines to make an amazing fall tree. I can't wait to see your artwork, and I want you to tell me in the comments one thing that you really enjoyed about this project. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.